Welcome to the Connie and Lenny Show. I'm Lenny Ledger from Tech Meter Business Solutions, and with us tonight is Connie Marie from CMK Connections. And together we are Grow on Social. GrowOnSocial.com. Maximize your social media experience by utilizing the power of social media platforms. We will talk about all the social media platforms that's available to you and give you strategies and tips as to how to utilize it and funnel it in. We're GrowOnSocial.com. Thank you for the members that have joined us and are tuned in tonight, as well as our CMK Connections. Wicked exciting guests tonight. Looking forward to talking with them. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to play some games with them, a little bit of trivia, and have some fun. Thanks for tuning in. Send in your questions. Our first segment, we're going to talk about small businesses and the best way to strategize using social media. Then we'll talk about what not to do. Miss Margaret Manners, what to do and what not to do when you're on social media. Without any further ado, Connie Marie, CMK Connections. Connie, take it away.
How you doing, Lenny?
How you doing, Connie? Good to see you tonight.
Hot.
Oh!
It is so hot in here.
I'm sure it is.
We
have a shout out this week.
What's that?
We have a shout out for this week.
Oh, we do. We have a shout out. We do. We got to have our shout out.
I think we're gonna go right to the shout out. This is important.
Is that flashing for you like it's flashing for me?
I think it is.
Oh, there we go. Our shout out is Colette. So two weeks ago, because we missed a week, our last show, episode 1, Colette won. And so, yeah, we get to showcase her business. And so each week or each show, we are going to do that. We're going to have a business that we showcase. So last time we did a poll. This week, it's going to be off the trivia questions. So you guys, when we get to the point where we play our game with our guest business, answer, as we're doing the trivia questions, answer in the comment section, in the chat section, and then that will automatically enter you in, and I will draw a name, and that business will get showcased the next episode. So for this episode, we are talking about Colette. And she is she's real estate, and she's in More Realty is her business. She's a real estate broker and consultant. She helps both buyers and sellers in the Portland metro area. She provides seminars and personal consultations about the local housing market to clients that are looking to build wealth through a myriad of real estate strategies. She is fantastically fun. I was with her in an essential oil class is when I first met her, and absolutely adore her. So it's great that we're able to give her shout out. So that's our first shout out ever.
That's awesome. That's great. And thanks for tuning in.
Colette's here. So yeah, there you go.
Nice. Great to see you tonight, Colette. Fantastic.
All right. So let's get right into it. I think we should, because I think last time it was an hour, and we want to kind of make sure we don't go over and get right to stuff.
That hour just went by quick too. We had a good time last week.
We had a good conversation with Emily. So, and we're going to have a really great conversation with Jenny. So I'm excited about that. Jenny Holman is with us, organization extraordinaire. And so in the theme of what's the word? Organization and design and all of that. So I've kind of made sure the content was relevant theme-wise. You guys have to bear with me. It's probably a good 85, 90 degrees in my office. So if my brain shuts off, then that's what we're dealing with. A little meltdown, unfortunately. So right into it. So the first segment, we're going to go over some social media stuff. If you have pen and paper in front of you, you should, because I want you to take notes on this stuff, because this is some really good stuff. And so It's an article I pulled off of entrepreneur.com. I go there for pretty much everything because they have such great content. So how to schedule social media content for next week, next month, and next year. And I get clients asking me all of the time about this, of scheduling content. And you know how I feel, Lenny, everything for me needs to be authentic. And if you have somebody posting for you, then sometimes that can come across as somebody posting for you. But this is some really good information on how you can actually schedule and still be authentic. So scheduling part of your social media content in advance is well worth it. 5 benefits to mapping out your social media content. Social media content feels quite in the moment, in real time, when you consider the short life cycle of updates and the rapid way that information moves across Twitter, Facebook, and others. A solid social media schedule leaves room for real-time updates. So planning content on social media still allows for flexibility to the schedule and provides opportunities to slip in real-time engagement. The key to doing this, though, those 5 benefits: 1, it helps you maintain a consistent cadence. 2, you can map time-sensitive content ahead of time. You know, I fall into this all of the time, where a holiday comes up and passes, and I'm like, crap, there was so much opportunity I could have used, and I completely wasn't paying attention. So being able to map that out ahead of time is huge for your business. 3, you'll take your social marketing out of a silo. 4, it serves as a system of record. And 5, it enforces the 411 rule. And we're going to get into that. So that's where I'm saying have pen and paper and take some notes on this. So here's a bit more on each of these benefits. Consistent cadence. So there's a lot to be said for consistency on social media. We all know that. You have to be consistent so people know who you are and you don't just fade into the dark and the abyss. In terms of publishing frequency, consistency can help your audience learn when to expect new content from you. So they'll actually be looking for it because they expect it. And keeping a consistent schedule, make sure you maximize engagement without hitting any lulls or stretches without updates. Time-sensitive content. So events, holidays, product launches, contests, many of these time-sensitive events can be planned ahead of time and placed on a calendar. So no more silo. When a social media happens in real time, it gets created and published in moments. Planning ahead allows others to become involved in the process, involving a whole team rather than a narrow silo of 1 or 2 social media managers. So that's where I get kind of caught up in, when you hire somebody to do your social media, does that take your authenticity out of that? So, but if you're actually involved in the content, but then you have somebody else actually publish that content, then to me, you're able to then still be authentic and a part of it, but know that you're being consistent and you're able to be more on top of your social media so it doesn't just get forgotten. System of record. Keeping a calendar gives you something to refer to later. You can track back on the updates you posted, and you can review your posting cadence and rhythm from one period to the next. And then the 411 rule. This rule refers to a ratio of sharing on social media. People ask all the time, how much should I share? When should I be sharing all of this stuff? So this rule refers to ratio of sharing on social media: 4 educational and entertaining posts for every 1 soft promotion and every 1 hard promotion. That's the 411 rule. And then there's other ratios I'll be explaining here in a second. So the best content rules and ratios for sharing on social media. 411 we just went over. There's a 5-3-2 rule. So 5 should be content from others, 3 should be content from you, and 2 should be personal status updates. There's a 5-5-5 rule: 5 updates about you and your content, 5 updates about others, 5 responses, replies. And then the golden ratio is 30-60-10. So 30% owned, 60% curated, and 10% promotional. So it's just different ways to look at it. I think depending on the industry you're in is which one's going to apply to you and probably what platform. And that's what's coming up next. So the ideal frequency to post to social media. Once you have the general framework for the content you plan, the next step is to figure out the ideal frequency for your posts. Your schedule figures to be unique based on the specific audience. That being said, there's been some neat research on frequency that give you a place to start. We collected a number of studies on the best frequency for the top social media sites. Here's what they found. Post to Twitter at least 5 times a day. And if you can swing up to 20 posts, you would be even better off. So that's Twitter. Post to Facebook up to 2 times a day. How many of us, and we've got a good audience going, how many of you post twice only twice a day on Facebook. I'd like to see that. So in the comments, tell me how many times you post to Facebook. Because for me, I'm like constantly in there sharing stuff and posting. I'm definitely doing it more than 2. So I'd be curious to see what our audience is doing. Post to LinkedIn 1 time a day. I don't know if I agree with that one. You guys can give me your feedback on what you think. Post to Google Plus up to 2 times a day. Post to Pinterest up to 2 times a day. Post to Instagram 1.5 per day. What is a half post? What is a half post? That must be like an average, right? Like an average of the week, which is 7 days. So. They came up with a half post. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to do half a post, like part 1 and part 2.
I think you should try doing a half post.
Okay, I think I'm going to give that a shot.
So, yeah, like no punctuation, just maybe even drop off somewhere in the middle of a word. Half a post. Just to
leave them guessing.
Right.
And
yeah, so they must probably just average that out, throughout. I mean, that's that. Why can't you just round up?
Yeah. Okay. So, and then the last bit is plan ahead for events and launches. So what events do you have planned for the coming year? So work 1 day ahead. And it says, what events and launches are you planning for tomorrow? How much content do you need to plan and schedule? And how does your sharing ratio fit with a day's worth of content? Look 1 month ahead. What events and launches are planned for next month? What goals and plans for the content for next month? And which content can you schedule in advance? And what will you need to reserve space for? What experiments might you be running? And then look a full year ahead. Again, what events and launches are you planning for the year? What sharing ratio will you start out with? What will be your daily frequency to start? What tentpole content do you hope to publish? So here's the thing. I know that when I say all of that, everybody starts freaking out, right? Everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's way too much work. I can't, it's to plan it all. And I really don't care. And I hate social media and it doesn't make any sense to me. And there's no immediate ROI. So I just don't want to do it at all. And the fact of the matter is it's absolutely where your business needs to advertise. It's absolutely free except for your time. But the thing is that if you put the effort in and if you follow these rules that are trying to help you see, where are the correct times to do this? What is the correct amount of, and frequency? And you just create that system. And I know Jenny is probably chomping at the bit because I know that's what she does as far as planning things and making things run so much smoother when you're able to do that ahead of time. It gets easier. It totally gets easier. And if you have that system set up, and I think we have Amy's on, and Amy said Google Plus has been shut down a few months, so don't worry about that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was going to say the same thing.
And yeah. I agree with the LinkedIn. I didn't like the whole one post thing because, one post on any social media platform is not enough because that post comes through and it's like going down the river, right? You put your boat in the river, it's already past everybody and it's gone.
Right.
And if you do your post at the beginning of the day and people show up after lunch,
it's gone.
The risk of it getting buried or your visibility or your exposure getting buried or gone down the river is high. So you need to be posting more than that for sure. That's all I got.
Yeah. So temperature's rising, but you're right about
hot in here.
It's hot. Hey, this is smoking hot material. So
it is.
It is that, and maybe that's what it is. It's steaming up the room. But you're absolutely right. When it comes down to social media is the long game, and you're dead on when it comes down to people do it a few times. They don't see the return on it. I'm just going to quit. It's the same thing as like going to the gym. You go to the gym 3 times and you expect to have ripped abs, and it's like, oh, I don't have ripped abs. I'm just going to quit now.
That is exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the long game. So
Perfect analogy. I went to the gym twice this week. I see no muscles. Well,
yeah,
because you got to do it more.
It's you have to train yourself, and it's the same way that you physically train is the same way that you're going to train as far as doing that social. And the more you're hitting that social, the more you're getting it out there, the more you're conditioned to do it. And then you become mentally conditioned for it. And like Connie was mentioning about having someone else, it's better that you write your content and then send it to them and have them send it out, because something that you're creating is your authentic self, and you want to show.
Yes, or at the very least, and I know Amy, this is something that Amy does for people, at the very least, you want to be involved in it. You know, and I know that Amy, when she does this process with her clients, she's getting to know them, to know how to post for them. But I want people to be more involved in that process. I want them to not just hand it off to somebody. And I know a lot of people that's literally what they do. Like, this is my business, go post for me. And that eventually that just isn't going to work when you really want to use social media to promote your business to the point where you get the exposure you need for success. So just some things to think about. So that's what I had. I think we're ready to get our business guest in with us.
I agree. I think we should get her on board.
So let me bear with me just a second as I'm learning this program.
Yeah.
I'm learning this slide sharing thing.
But it's handy. That's a great program to have. It's nice to have, especially if you have to go out in front of clients. You have your laptop, and you can go through a presentation through that, or show whatever you have, wares or services.
Right.
Yeah. What a neat little program to have.
Well, where am I? I'm losing everything.
And hopefully it's not melting. So you don't want it melting.
No, it doesn't let us invite Jenny in here.
Oh no. How can that be?
That went away. I saw that at the beginning where we could invite her in.
Yeah.
That's just rude.
Well, then we'll have to old school it and do it by email.
Jenny, will you, I'm going to have you leave and come back in and see if it'll pop back up while I get your introduction going here. I apologize, guys. I swear, with this heat, my brain is just not.
Right.
Yeah, he says, sure, that's a good excuse.
Sure. Yeah, and so I wonder if you have to digitally walk out and then walk back in to come back in. Because I know with the last guest we've invited through, and yeah, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, but I wanted to show the other screen. I don't know why it's doing that.
I know.
I'm not very technically savvy sometimes. Plus, when it's a little warm.
Right? You focus on nothing but that sweat just beating down your brow.
Meet Miss Jenny Holman. And okay, let's get her invite going. I apologize, guys, because it didn't. Put her name in here and her email and get her so we can see her beautiful face.
Yeah.
It's not just the two of us. We thought we'd be slick and have her in the room, but I guess it takes that away.
I guess we're still kind of ironing out those kinks as well, which is okay. I mean, it's kind of it's fun. It's more fun doing it live.
Absolutely. I love looking crazy because then when I'm working with my clients and I tell them wing it, because people just need to know that we all are struggling sometimes, right? So I sent the invite. Hopefully she'll be with us soon. I am going to introduce her here. Jenny Holman does organization and design. And what's amazing about Jenny is when she comes into your home to help you with your space or your business space, because I know that we want to talk about that a lot today with the business owners. is understanding how if your space is not working for you and not functioning for you, then that really holds you back time-wise, efficiency, and happiness. One of the things she really focuses on is she wants you to be happy when you walk into your space. She wants you to not dread going into your workspace and because you got so much that's bogging you down because you're seeing all of these piles, but rather make it so that the space really works in your favor. And so I'm really excited to be able to bring her to you today, and so she can share some of that with you. And as soon as she gets in here.
Now, is that like feng shui kind of stuff? Oh, look at that. She came back in as a guest. But Jenny, you should have received an email as well that would give you an invite.
I invited you as an actual co-host, Jenny. So just go to that and click, and that'll bring you in. I believe she knows some of that stuff. I don't know that she actually focuses on the feng shui side of design. We can ask her. Yeah. I know that one area she's not completely excited about is doing container type stuff. And she has great tips on what kind of containers. But when people like really just focus on that, that's something that isn't necessarily her thing either. So she'll be able to explain really on those areas that she really addresses that I think most people, when they think of organizing, they don't address, because they think of, when it comes to organizing, they're thinking of boxes and containers and baskets and things like that, and not necessarily flow. And another thing I like about Jenny is that she reuses things. So she's not the kind of person that's going to come into your space and say, okay, you need to buy all of these different things. She's actually going to look at your space and see what's working for you, and then repurpose some other things into new either pieces of furniture or storage, possibilities. And it's pretty cool.
That sounds really neat. Yeah, that sounds very exciting.
Well, it's even better when it comes from her. So hopefully we can get her on here.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully she just checks that email and clicks on in, just hits the link, comes in.
So let's ask our audience who feels that their space is not inviting. They don't get excited about going into their space. Who struggles with their either workspace or home space? And then let us know which space in your response, because I'd like to know. I just reorganized my office space so that you don't have the window right behind me, if you noticed.
I've noticed. I think that's great. It looks like you're in a completely new room.
And it's so much nicer. It's not done yet, but just doing some simple reorganizing has actually made it easier for me, for sure.
Right. Amy. Yeah. Your office is currently quick, the guests are coming. Toss everything to the side. 911. Yeah.
I know how that goes. That's my home office. So yeah, and I believe Amy works from home. So yeah, she's unfortunately, and that's just, and one of the other things I like about Jenny when she explains it is getting everybody on board. So if you do have a home office and she comes into your home to help you with it, she'll actually talk to your family and say, look, this is the new game plan, right? This isn't the drop-off spot. This isn't X, Y, or Z. This is mom's office or dad's office. This is what it's for, and we're going to respect the space for that. So I love that she does that, because it can be really difficult as a mom to tell. Well, it's not difficult necessarily for us to tell them, but I think it's difficult for them to follow through, to actually respect enough to do that. So, and Jenny's really good. I feel like I'm explaining it for her, but she's really good at making sure they understand why, like not just telling the family, don't do this, but this is why, we want to support mom, and this is why this makes more sense to do it a certain way.
Sure. So let's see, Judy's in the process of adding some space into their room, and it really does help a lot. And then just going on, and that's great. Next is the office, then to the living room, but and this, the comment before is that the office is the dumping ground, and boy, oh boy, I am so guilty of that. And that's what happens. It's like I don't have storage space within my office, and so I have everything in there, and it's like, well, maybe I'll hang that up, or maybe I'll put that over there. And gosh, after time, you're like, I got all this stuff in my office. I have no place to put a pen. Yeah, great comment, Judy.
All right, I'm trying one more time to invite her.
All right, give it a spin.
I'll go through. Hopefully I got the email right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I need to go to the sauna. I was going to go to the gym and the sauna after this, but I don't think I'm going to have to.
You don't need to. You're already there. And if you find some weights, if you just move some weights around, look, 2 birds, 1 stone.
You know, I am so devoted to you guys with this heat.
Yeah, it's not something that you're really used to.
Well, apparently in Oregon we are, because it's been really hot lately.
I've seen that. That's crazy.
It is. I think it was a little over 85 today.
Oh yeah, that's pretty hot. You know, when
it is. What's it like in Florida?
It was 87 today. So
really?
Yeah.
Judy thinks it's lovely weather. You like this? I don't like this.
Well, I mean, look, you only get 8 weeks of that. So.
Oh, she loves the heat. Amy loves the heat. I'm so glad for y'all. Then why don't y'all come over and hang out with me in my office?
Right. You could have a sauna party.
Yes, we could have a sauna.
Oh, there you go. Oh, so Jenny's having email issues. That's sad.
I know. What is going on here?
So Jenny, do you have an alternate email address you can send in? That's okay. Don't worry about it. If you have another alternate email address, if you just put it right there in that chat, we'll see that, and then we'll send an invite out that way.
Yeah, because it won't go through Messenger. Otherwise, it's just bringing you as an audience. We'll have to invite you in as a co-host to get you up on the screen. So it must be right at the beginning of these webcasts that we have to invite them.
I wonder. Because now during our last show, didn't the guests come in like later on?
They said they were having issues, but this time I went through Facebook and sent a whole ton of direct invites, and I believe that worked easier for everybody.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate you guys helping us get through this.
Oh, wow.
Jenny, do you have another email that I can send it to? Because I sent it to the jenny@leora.life.
Oh, well, that was a good plug.
Yeah, there you go. It's on the screen as well. Everybody, right here. Jenny, there's her contact information.
There's the contact.
Check her out. leora.life. Oh my, I am so warm.
Well, let's focus on, like, I don't know, ice cubes in Alaska and polar bears.
Drink my tea.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Have a nice
email there.
Hopefully that's a good iced tea, not a hot tea.
All right, I'm going to send this to Jenny, and she's going to pop on with us here.
Pop right in. Yeah,
this one is going to work. That's a very long one.
You might be able to copy and paste it. Yeah.
All right.
It's I'll tell you, it's crazy that that just in that whole pocket, like going through Washington State and Oregon State, but where you just get that intense heat, that just crazy heat. Where last week, gosh, over 100 degrees, right, in Beaverton. It's nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's nuts.
I took a picture. My car showed 109. I don't think that was. It was like just one little spot, but it was definitely over 100. It was nuts.
Right.
I just want to show, I went over the questions section. I just want to show that Colette thanked us. And she said that she's grown her followers based on last week's show, which we did Instagram. So awesome. And maybe, Colette, you can share what you did on Instagram that you think helped your follower base grow. I think that would be good for us to know maybe what you implemented or did differently than you were doing before that helped. So Jenny, just let us know if you got that email. I don't know why they're not going through. The struggle is real.
The struggle is real. Boy, the email struggle is real. Yeah. Yeah, boy, oh boy. You know, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's just so hot, it's melting the lines out there and email's not going through.
Sure. We could fall on that.
Sure.
So while we're waiting for her, Lenny, what's new in your social media world?
Look at
you just escaped that question. Do it sound?
Did it work?
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
Yay.
Welcome, Jenny. Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I have no idea what the issue was.
That's okay. You're here. That's all that's all that matters. Well, thank you for being with us. I appreciate you being here so much, and I know that you're living it warm with me.
Yeah.
I said earlier. So, welcome.
Thank you.
And so, share with us a little bit about Leora.
Well, you did a great job explaining pieces of what I do. So I do organization and functional redesign. And for me, that just means doing whatever it takes to help people love the spaces they spend their life in. You spend your life at work, you spend your life at home. I believe that both should be designed with intention and purpose to allow you to bring your best self to the table, whether that's in your home or at work. So I love working with business owners, especially because when you're a small business owner, you're passionate about what you do, you're really great at what you do. You come in with full arms and set everything down where there's space, but not really thinking about where it goes. And when we do that, we find ourselves, struggling to thrive in those spaces, especially when we bring in additional people. And so just making sure that space is designed with intention and purpose to allow us to really, really bring our strong efforts forward.
I think that right there is the sum of everyone's issue, is the fact that they just don't know where to put stuff, right? And they know they want this stuff, they want to have it. I think a good example that you brought up before that I've heard you talk about is magazines. And I have this where I end up then with just a stack of magazines and I don't necessarily have a place to put them. And I don't obviously want them all 30 of them on the coffee table. So just things like that, where if we don't have a specific place for them or plan of action, like an issue in my house is there's 4 of us in our house and there's probably 100 shoes when you come in the front door.
Yes.
And every time I walk by them, I'm like, we're not wearing all those shoes. I know because I wear like the same 3 pair unless there's something special going on.
Yep. 3 or 4 pairs a piece is what's probably standard for most closets. I try to keep it down to 2 and a pair of flip-flops. Flip-flops don't take up a lot of space. So I'm like, okay, those can stay. But yeah, making sure that, we kick them off and I carry mine right up the stairs as soon as I get home. But it's really just about, figuring out what works and then building a system to support new habits. And that's what I work. I do a lot of conversations and a lot of, kind of consulting to that end to talk about realistic behavior change and how to support that intended change.
Right. Explain to us a scenario where you've worked with a business, where you've gone in and you've worked with a business to be able to make their space. And like I shared earlier, and you've shared with me plenty of times, where you either dread going into work because, your work, everything is just too much, or you're excited to go in because it's a place for creativity and to thrive. So maybe you can explain to us how you work with businesses and some of the changes that you're able to make and implement.
Yeah, one of my favorite examples, and this is when I first launched my business in Florida, but I was at the time I was working a lot with residents and homes, but a lot of them actually happened to be business owners on the side. And so my favorite example is working with this woman named Becca. She is a mom of 4, home full time. She just has one little one left at home, and the other ones are in school for most of the day. But she has a sewing studio, and it's absolutely gorgeous. She's got, top of the line equipment, just the most beautiful fabrics. She's extremely talented. But her sewing studio is the first room you see when you walk into the house. And it's actually on the way to the master bedroom. So you have to walk through the studio to get to the master, and past it to get to, sorry, I'm like hitting the screen, getting through the kitchen and into the dining room and the rest of the home. So, and she teaches classes too, which is really important. So otherwise I would say, well, why don't we move your studio to the back of the house? But she teaches classes. So she has 7 machines set up to teach young women how to sew. And so she has clients in and out of her home constantly. So dragging them all the way through the home doesn't make a lot of sense. But that is one example where I would look at like redesign and how intention and purpose plays into how you use your space. But this one actually made sense. So we didn't change that piece. But her kids would come home and take off their shoes and drop off their backpack, and her husband would put mail and boxes on the door or on the table. And her little one would go down for a nap, and she'd say, oh, well, I have, 2.5 hours at best. So that's being optimistic. And I can get at least 2 hemming projects done, and I can set up for class. It would take her the first 45 minutes just to get all the stuff that doesn't belong out of the space. And then another 30 minutes to find the pieces she needs. And, heaven forbid the machine jams or something. She just couldn't get anything done there. And it was heartbreaking because she was extremely talented and just the sweetest woman. So working in her studio was probably one of my very favorite earliest experiences with businesses. And, we took 3 days. I kicked everybody out. I said, I'm missing. Don't come looking for me. I'm in Becca's studio. And, we tore it apart. We looked at all the pieces she had for just 100 of incomplete, wishful thinking kind of projects. And we had to prioritize, and we, made sure that all the materials for one project were in the same place. And, I encouraged her to get rid of things that weren't a priority anymore. She wasn't going to get to them. And it was just taking up space, and it was doing more harm than good. And then I sat down with her family. You alluded to this earlier. I sat down with her kids and her husband and said, look, this is how Becca contributes to the home. She's passionate. She's super skilled. The community loves her. She has people that are bringing her projects, and she wants to be able to do this for people. We need to be able to support her and encourage her. And the way that we do that is by treating this space with respect. And, we really did have to have some conversations, but it was really worthwhile, and it made a huge difference to her and her family.
Wow. And your passion comes through. I know every time we sit together, I get so excited for you, because it's just something that is part of when you have a business owner who is so passionate about what they do, and they get so excited to see the success happen through their clients. That's really what it's all about. And I see that so much come through you with what you're doing. And so to me, anybody that really struggles in any of these areas really needs to talk to you. Your contact information is up there. But I think it's time we play a game. I think we have some fun.
I think it is time to play a game.
All right. So let's cue up the game stuff. All right, so I've got some trivia questions here, and I just had this going, and I know I'm going to do it again, so bear with me, guys.
That's right. Working. So while Connie's pulling that up, Jenny, I have a question. So now you do organization, but do you also involve what you do like as a feng shui, like as the full, like an energy type of setup where
I'm somewhat familiar with other organizational concepts. What I have found over the years in my various studies is that when an individual hyper specializes in something, then their scope of solution finding becomes very narrow. And so what they do is they identify a problem based on how they already plan on implementing their solution. And this is true in a variety of fields, but I found it a lot in psychology because that's where my bachelor's is. And so, whoever taught the class focused on one specific training, and it was, you could solve all your problems with this, but then, you look at this solution and you can solve all your problems with this. So I try to be very broadly aware of multiple concepts so that when I approach a situation, I can actually look at it and say, oh, these are the concepts that will help you most. And I don't kind of, back people into a corner of, well, your problem has to fit my solution, because that's not the case.
Right.
But I love, how a space feels is really important to me. How it feels to somebody else is really important to me. I want it to feel balanced. I want it to feel like there's enough white space to breathe. And I want people who enter that space to have an open posture where they're ready to receive new information and be ready to act in a way that is supporting and facilitating the members around them. So that's what I aim for when I'm designing new spaces.
So important in business. So important.
Yeah. And with the family flow. That's great. All right. Game time.
So we're going to play a game. And like last time, this is trivia stuff. And I went online and spent days upon days looking for content around organizing, right? Trivia, organizational trivia. It was a struggle. So bear with me. Okay. So the first part of this is being organization and design for you and the audience. So in the audience, answer, and that kind of automatically enters you in the drawing for who's going to be showcased next week as our business spotlight. So the first one is, I'm going to put up a picture of somebody, and you got to tell me who it is in the world of organization and design. Maybe. Here we go. Do we know who that is? Anybody?
No.
I always thought he was kind of cute.
No idea.
Nobody knows? Oh, come on. I can't be the person that watched all those home remodel design shows.
Say that again?
I said I can't be the only one that watched all those home remodel design shows.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
And this was like years back. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody pop up. It is Nate Burkus.
Nate Burkus.
And so he would come in and help people pick out pillows and colors and all that fun stuff. All right, here's the next one. And I really think Jenny's going to get this one. So maybe Jenny, take 3 seconds before you answer just to see if our audience will know this. Anybody in our audience want to pop up the answer to who this is in the organization and design world? We might have a slight delay in response. Does Lenny know?
I think I know who it is.
Who is it?
Is that Joanne?
Joanna Gaines?
Joanna Gaines.
That is who that is.
She is actually a key contributor to my inspiration, my personal style preferences, and probably one of the only people that I actually follow and actually have a magazine subscription for.
So I would recommend, I actually loved a lot of the stuff that Nate Burkus did. And so I know he has books out, and I know Joanna Gaines also has books out. So I would definitely, if it's something that somebody's interested in just checking out and seeing some ideas, then those are 2 key people. All right. So then again, trivia, I was like, what am I going to dig up for this trivia? And so I thought, well, when it comes to design, maybe we'll go to that area because organization wasn't popping nothing. So we got some color questions. Okay. Bear with me. We've got some color questions, and then they're not real hard. So here's the first one. In the Peanuts cartoon and comics, what color was Woodstock?
No idea.
Amy's quick.
What, really?
Amy's
Yes.
sick. Does Jenny know who Woodstock is?
No.
From
I was
Peanuts?
a very I didn't never knew the name of the bird.
That's
Oh.
Woodstock. Because
That's funny.
yeah, there you go. All right, next question. What kind of legume provides the colored inks used in most U.S. daily newspapers?
What
Any guesses?
kind?
Amy
Yeah.
says soy.
I was going to say the same.
20 seconds.
Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed
Ooh.
peas. Also a good group. There you go.
Is that a black-eyed pea?
No, it's a soy. It's a soybean. Amy is correct. Who had a 1980s hit with True Colors?
Oh, I know this one.
I just listened to the Justin Timberlake remake of it and thought it was his when I first heard it, but I heard the original this week and I didn't look at who it was.
Yeah. See, Lenny and I are older.
And better than that, the one who did that hit, she actually she gave me a hard time one time down in Miami sometime in the last century.
I'm going to venture to say that everyone you see walking on the street that has colored hair, it started with her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Miss
That would
Cyndi
be
Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper.
Loved
Yes.
her. That was how we dressed in high school. Just saying. Right there.
Yikes.
The hair.
the leggings, right? Yeah. The leggings.
Oh my gosh, the jelly bracelets.
Yeah.
Did you wear, Lenny? Did you wear the jelly bracelets?
No.
Okay. Well, some of the boys did in my school. I'm just saying. With the jelly bracelets, we had jelly shoes. Who in the audience remembers the jelly shoes? I can't be the only one.
Anybody?
Jelly shoes? I had those as a kid.
The plasticky, now I think they're Crocs, but back then it was like lacy looking shoes.
I had a pair.
This just took me back. Name the 7 colors of the rainbow.
Roy G.
Oh.
Biv.
Roy G.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. I can't get those, but I'm not worth nothing.
Was that 7?
I think. Oh, I miss indigo.
Indigo. What color is indigo?
It's
hold on.
type of blue.
Yeah, so it is right, indigo, and it's. But is it like a rich blue? But it's blue before it goes to violet.
Yeah, it's denim jeans are typically indigo.
Yeah, it's like that bluish, purplish, in betweenish.
Right, like Jenny was saying, brand new jeans.
Yep, if you let them soak too long, they will bleed indigo.
Oh yeah.
Okie dokie. Next question. What color is octopus's blood? These are so.
My first instinct was black, but that's ink.
Judy says green.
Green. I'm gonna say purple.
Colette says blue. So
Colette says blue. It is pale bluish green.
Hey, so I think
we're all winners.
We're all winners.
We're all winners.
Amalgam of the colors.
And then the last question is, what is the most common color in design, Jenny?
Blue. Some variant of blue.
She is so correct, of course. The color blue is one of the most visible colors to the human eye in this world. The blue color is everywhere. The sky, the sea, both elements bring calmness and happiness to our mind. The color blue is considered a cool color. The blue color, which is reflected by the objects under the eye of the human retina, the eye muscles don't have to strain and make an extra effort to deal with the color blue, which is why they make your phone screens. You can go to the blue if you want to not stress your eyeballs.
Yeah, and that's why in the rainbow, there's 3 different shades of blue that you see. The blue, indigo, and violet are all blue-based colors.
Right.
I had another one. How common is this, Jenny?
I have 4 pictures on my phone right now that look just like that I sent to a colleague for a slideshow.
So do you walk into this kind of stuff a lot?
Daily.
Daily. So in a 2008 NAPO survey of 400 consumers nationwide, 27% said they feel disorganized at work, and of those, 91% said they would be more effective and efficient in their workspace if their workspace was better organized. 28% said they would save over an hour per day, and 27% said they would save 31 to 60 minutes each day. So it's huge, for productivity and efficiency and all of that for us. I think we need to understand how powerful it is, and that is our trivia for today.
All right.
Isn't that something?
I spent days putting that together. All right.
You didn't even put on like the current most famous organizer right now.
Who is that?
Marie Kondo. She's on Netflix. She is what has catapulted organizing in the last year or so.
Marie Kondo.
Yep, Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. It's a Netflix series. She had a book out first. That's how she got the Netflix series, and that is who everybody knows right now. And that's why people know that professional organizing is actually a profession.
Right. I think Lenny was trying to pull that up.
I was.
Jenny, can you write that in the chat so that if somebody wants to Google that or look her up, then that would be great. Judy says, for extra credit, what color is Linus's blanket? Oh, I know.
I know what it is.
Because he drug it everywhere.
That's right.
How could you not see him with it snuggling? He always had it snuggled. While she's doing that, we want to get, because we are already at 7:51. Thank you, Jenny. So Marie Kondo, if you guys want to look into that and see what she's doing and all of that, and please reach out to Jenny if you feel struggles in any of these areas. Have a conversation with her. It's definitely worth your time. And as businesses, if you have not done a one-on-one with her, please meet up with her, because y'all need connections, and that's what we're here for.
That's right.
There's his blanket.
That's his blanket. Yeah, the blue blanket.
Yeah, I don't need a blanket right now. It looks too uncomfortable and hot. All right, so we're going to go into our last segment here because we're running out of time, and I don't want to keep you guys much longer than we have to. So 6 tactics to increase productivity by organizing your workspace. I'm going to try and get through this quickly, and then Jenny, please jump in if there's anything that you want to add to it. So 6 tactics. 1 is sound. Instead of listening to high volume music, why not try ambient noise? A study by the University of Chicago concluded that ambient noise was ideal for creativity as it helps you analyzing difficult data compared to high noise levels with stifle information processing. Yay, nay? Anybody want to interject their opinion on that? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Clean versus cluttered. Contrary to popular belief, there's actually benefits to having both a clean and cluttered desk. A study of psychological science found that it's useful to have a messy desk at the beginning of a project and a clean one at the end. It was observed that in disorganized environment, creativity is stimulated since people are free to come up with more ideas, while tidiness encouraged people to do what was expected of them, being charitable, eating healthier, and making better choices. Any thoughts on that, Jenny?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It comes back to the intention and purpose piece. So people have often argued that, a cluttered space is a sign of creativity and brilliance. And that isn't far off. I mean, there is a lot of research that supports that. It really does just depend on what your purpose is and how you're using your space. If it is a creative space, I mean, I'll take everything out of my closet and throw it on my table and see what I can create in a day. But they're absolutely right. If you have something that is sterile and clean and predictable, then you have a certain way of behaving, and anybody who enters that space has an anticipated expectation of how they should behave. They won't leave their own personal dishes or their bag or a pile of their own stuff on your surfaces because they're already neat. So our spaces communicate a lot to us about how we should behave and use the space. So right. Absolutely.
3, ergonomics. It's beneficial to indulge in basic ergonomics, adjust and make sure that everything that you need is within reach to reduce muscle strain later on, so you can cut down on the time-wasting activities of trying to find that misplaced document. Open versus isolated. Open spaces are increasingly popular in office design. Feng Shui principle suggests that rounded furniture tends to generate more creativity. And a study published in Journal of Consumer Research found that sitting in circles or curved environments spark more brain activity, linked and reward aesthetic appreciation and a collective mindset. But an open floor plan can be a disadvantageous. What is that word? Whatever, stating lack of privacy is the reason from a study by the University of Sydney.
Yeah, so open concept is very, very popular right now, and a lot of the progressive industries are moving towards it or have been, but we've seen it in action enough lately to know that it really does depend on the kind of work that's being done. Open concepts are really great for collaboration and creativity and generating new ideas. But a lot of people really need to be able to sit down and focus and engage in deep work, which requires them to have periods of isolation and be distraction-free so that they can actually continue on their train of thought without being derailed. So
it's going to depend on the specific task you're doing, because otherwise people get chatty.
Back to the intention and purpose. How are you using your space? What are you trying to accomplish? And is your environment designed to help you accomplish that task? So it really just depends on the work.
That's what Judy's sharing there. Yep, absolutely. 5 creative triggers. Triggers are actions that set off an automatic urge which forms a habit. By identifying the actions that start the procrastination process or those that facilitate working intensely, we can see which trigger to alter to a new habit. To form a new habit, it has to be intentional at first, but with time and consistency, the habit becomes automatic. That almost sounds like what you say all of the time.
Yeah, and you can intentionally develop those triggers, which is something I highly encourage. And that can be, and I've actually started doing this with essential oils. But I also have a bell. I have a bell that I hit that signals a time of silence. It helps me to reprogram my brain. So sounds, smells, feels. I have a dish of rocks actually that I keep on my desk. It's one of the few things that I do have. I have 3 little stones, and I sit and the sound of them. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yes.
The sound and the feel of these stones pulled off the beach helped me to think and to avoid distraction. So there are different triggers that we can design for ourselves, absolutely. And identifying what those triggers are that lead you down bad behavior or behavior that you're trying to avoid is really important. And doing it.
I feel really creative at the beach. Should I layer my office with sand on the floor so I feel like I'm really there?
That's an interesting approach.
Maybe not. Maybe that's going too much.
I mean, it could work.
An umbrella.
I'm too much of a neat freak. I would recommend maybe wind, like putting on a fan and maybe a mister or like a saltwater diffuser.
So nice right now.
I
love a mister.
There's right now you would, I'm sure. There's noise generators, and I have one. And
they're my children. Oh, you didn't mean that.
Nice.
That kind.
Noise generators. I'll run that. And then one of my favorites is actually it's called nighttime, like summer nighttime, and it's crickets. It's all like different like sounds
I fall asleep to that.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's a white noise, and it helps me focus.
Yeah. Okay, and last 6, nature. Increased natural light rather than fluorescence. Research in 2012 established that working with artificial light causes sleepiness at the end of the day. If your workplace has artificial light all day, does not have light, take outdoor breaks as a natural refresher. And if you can't, a study executed in 2013 suggests that adding a potted plant to your desk increases productivity and cognitive attention. Why? Whenever you gaze at the plant, it helps you reconnect with nature, thereby increasing refreshment. A health benefit is that your plant filters the air to expel bacteria as well.
Rewild, my friends. It is very, very good for us. They even have studies recently where they're like, well, can a fake plant work just as well as a real plant? Because we're killing a lot of things. And part of the hypothesis for this is that it's the organic and unpredictable shapes that wildlife comes in that actually helps to kind of distract your brain and encourage that same sensation. It's that organic pattern, so to speak.
So you're saying you could use a plastic plant?
In some instances, it depends. I think
Like
that's one of the arguments is that maybe, but I always prefer living they listed legitimate reasons for having living.
Right, and the benefit that it's going to clean and filter the air.
Right.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing with us and letting us into the world of organization. And I hope that the content that I shared was beneficial for you guys. I hope you took notes with all of the different posting suggestions on organizing your social media posting, because it's what we're talking about is organizing. And yeah, does anybody have any last minute questions for Jenny before we close out episode 2 of the Connie and Lenny show? Judy's still stuck on my sand, I think. Put it on a rug swatch that is designed to track sand cat litter to help you with the tracking.
Sure. And
She is creative. I could use her for some brainstorming.
And pea gravel, I think, is also because I've actually tried that with the sand, and you'll end up tracking it everywhere. Like, so, it kind of sticks to your feet, sort of like cat paws. So yeah, you just track it, and it gets everywhere. It's just a mess. I've tried the different solutions, but pea gravel sounds good because it'll kind of drop right off your feet. It doesn't stick to you like sand.
It sounds very cool right now, which sounds very appealing to me.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. So, any last questions for Jenny before we?
So Jenny, give us your specifics. So it's leora.life is your website, right?
Yes.
And they can call you at
971-400-0375.
Beautiful. And you network with me at WIN. So we have our WIN group in Hillsborough off of Baseline. And what else do we do?
I do lots of things. I'm a member of the Beaverton Downtown Association. I'm the chair of the design committee. I'm the WIN membership coordinator. I have my own networking group that I do every other Friday with young women who are new to their industry so that they can get validation and support. So if you know anybody that is struggling to feel like they aren't faking it, and even if they are faking it, they're welcome because there's a lot to it. The Tualatin Women to Women group, I'm now on their leadership team as well. So if you have anybody you're trying to get in touch with, please reach out. Hopefully I know somebody. That's one of the things that I try very hard to do is be able to say, I can't, but I know somebody who can.
Absolutely. Having those connections. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for being on. I think that concludes our show. We're only 2 minutes over 8. I think that's good.
I think that's
perfect.
That's great. Jenny, thank you very much. That was very, very informative. Boy, I learned a lot in this past hour.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. And thank you to our audience.
And for everything, all the submissions and the questions coming in, that's certainly a lot of fun. Jenny, when is your networking group? Just before we get off, when is that networking group?
It meets Fridays at the AVA in Orenco Station from 12:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
It's every other Friday, but this Friday we are on. Yes, this Friday we are on.
Okay. All right. Then there you go, Judy. That answers your question. So great. Well, I'm sure that Judy will be at your next networking event. So you two can meet up and team up and maybe interact together. So fantastic.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Well, all right. I think with that, I think it's time to close it out.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to go for a swim.
Yeah. And in a pool of margaritas, I think maybe that's what it is. We're the Connie and Lenny show every Monday night. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly do appreciate you going to growonsocial.com, and we are here for you, so you can always get with us. I'm Lenny Ledger, Connie Marie with us tonight, and of course Jenny Homer. So thank you all for joining us. Have a good night, and that's all of it.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.